Now available in paperback and coming to Kindle Unlimited. John Haynes, Dark Succubus. The man who rules the world is tempted by a sultry succubus in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Dark Succubus in paperback or pre-order on Kindle Unlimited today. I had a chance to take a look at Cannon Busters, the first anime created by an African-American creator, Shawn Thomas. And after watching all 12 episodes of Cannon Busters, I can say it's a very strong effort, and I'd love to see more in the future from Shawn Thomas as related to anime. However, there were some issues with Cannon Busters that keep it from being something I would recommend. Now, Cannon Busters is groundbreaking in that it is the first African-American anime that features African-American characters, and it's a very strong effort overall. The visuals in Cannon Busters capture the spirit of old Japanese anime, and the characters literally are like those out of many of the classic animes that I used to watch as a kid back in the 80s that were dubbed over, like Gatchaman, also known as G-Force here in America, Go Lion, which is known as Voltron Lion Team, and your Daruga 15, which is also known as the Voltron Vehicle Force. Those were shows that I would rush to get home from school to go watch back in the mid-1980s, and I got that type of feel from your Cannon Busters, and that was something great to see with Cannon Busters, was seeing a show that really captured the spirit of all of those old school anime programs and captured the heart of that old school Japanese anime. However, there is room for improvement with Cannon Busters because while the animation was extremely strong, the story was a bit of a problem because it just didn't really flow well together, and many elements in it were completely uneven. Now, your Cannon Busters is supposed to be about Sam, this robot, and her companion, Casey, and their quest to get to this place where the prince is where they're supposed to rendezvous with this prince, who is the Prince of Boudica. And along the way, they're looking to recruit Philly the Kid, an immortal guy who's sort of like a cowboy, and it all fits in this story that really reminds me of a lot of Star Wars, because when I look at Cannon Busters with Sam the robot and Casey her robotic companion, they really remind me of C-3PO and R2-D2 in their quest to find Ben Kenobi. And in their quest to find Philly the Kid, I saw a lot of Han Solo in that character, who drives around in this Cadillac Eldorado, which transforms into a raging bull robot. And a lot of that stuff, yeah, it was very visually strong, and a lot of the concepts, they were very well put together visually. And that was one of the things I really enjoyed about Cannon Busters, was a lot of the visual designs and how they did a great job of making all of these very unique characters come to life. But my main issue with Cannon Busters, again, was the story, because it started out very strong, but then it just started to fall apart towards the end, because all the stories of the characters never really come together to form that one cohesive story. And for everything that was so promising in the setup, we really don't get that strong of a payoff in the later episodes. And that's one of the things that I found to be very disappointing about Cannon Busters, was that we got this great setup of Sam and what her mission, her relationship to the prince, because she was the companion droid to him, and we got this great setup with Casey, who likes to fix things and wants an upgrade herself, and the great irony in that she knows how to fix things and make them better, but she can't get that upgrade herself. And then we get Philly the Kid, who is the one of the supposed to be the, like, they were trying to make it like he was a lead character and a hero, but then towards the later episodes he just fades into the background and he really does not get to achieve anything because the writers really didn't do a good job of developing him. I mean, he was another very promising character on screen, but he never really got to really pay off in the end. We got this great setup with him, but we never got to see him come to this character transformation arc where we got to see why he did what he did towards the end of the series. So we never got to see an organic progression as related to a change of heart for him to make us see how much he cared about people, and instead it just happens sort of haphazardly in the last 2 episodes, and that was something that a solid writer would have come in and said, no, you can't really have this happen just in the last 2 episodes. You have to show an organic progression of him making these changes, him getting to know these bots, him getting to know these people. I mean, that's what they did with Han Solo in Star Wars. He came in looking for the money, but then he realized that there was something greater, but that really was not developed here with Philly the way it was with Han Solo. And then we got this whole thing about magic and the kingdoms and the prince's evil brother. I mean, all of these stories, they were very interesting and very compelling, but the way they were executed made it very difficult for anyone to see how they came together cohesively, or why we should care about them as these stories were being played along. It's like these stories were all being played together, but they never really came together to form one cohesive story where you saw how all of these sequences kind of came together towards the conclusion of the story. Now, eventually, Sam and Casey eventually wind up going to Garrus Keep and meeting the prince, but the climax of Cannon Busters, it just falls really flat because we really don't get that big payoff we're supposed to get. I mean, one of the big problems again with this series is the writing, and the writing it's all over the place. You have all of these different characters in the climax. They're all having these big fights, and it never really comes together to really pay off in a cohesive and conclusive way. Now, the last 2 episodes set up a second season of Cannon Busters with a whole group of characters coming together, but as I see it, they're going to have to really sit down and really think about things as related to the writing, because if they can't get the writing together, then your Cannon Busters, yes, it is the first black anime, but the way it's executed is just going to keep this show from actualizing its potential, because the big problem with Cannon Busters, as I see it, is not the animation. The animation is top-notch animation. The designs, I love seeing a lot of the designs of many of the characters, like Odin, like the Prince, like Sam, Philly the Kid. All of those designs are great visuals, and they show that you can make black characters in the anime format and bring them to life and make them very compelling looking characters and very strong visually. I mean, when I first saw many of these characters, I was sitting there saying, when are they going to make the toys for these characters? Because I would love to have some Cannon Busters action figures, but as the show progressed, I was starting to get cold on the show because the storytelling just isn't there that will make you say, I really want to go out here and watch more Cannon Busters, because the story really is just, again, very uneven, and it just doesn't really have that cohesiveness that it needs. Because when you're setting up something big with multiple characters, you really have to find a way to bring those characters together so you can have a satisfying conclusion. You can't have, like we had in Cannon Busters, where we have Nine the Ninja, who comes in one episode and then disappears and then pops back up for the conclusion out of nowhere, or Odin, who comes in and has a fight of his own. It's like everybody's fighting, but nobody's fighting together. It's like that was the big problem for me with Cannon Buster's climax was the payoff really was not a payoff where everybody came together and really took on this one big menace, and they all worked together towards defeating that one big menace. And that would have been the thing that would have probably made Cannon Buster's classic, had they had all the characters come together and had they had the writing really come together the way it should have. Because if they had gotten this writing really tight on this show, it could have really been a classic. But as it stands right now, Cannon Busters is a great step in the right direction for black people. It shows that black people can create great black anime, and that we can have anime featuring black characters. It does a great job of introducing us to this world, and I want to see this world get expanded upon in a season 2, and I'm hoping that LaShawn Thomas and the creators of Cannon Busters work out many of the problems with season 1 in season 2, because all of the elements are there to make a classic, and all they have to do is get their writing together on Cannon Busters, and they could have a possible classic on their hands, a show that could be on the level of classic animes like G-Force, like Voltron, and like many others like Trigun and many other animes out there, because all the elements of this sci-fi western are there, and all of the elements for great characters are there. But what they need on Cannon Busters is a great writer who has the vision to really understand how to make this world that has been built work, of Boudica and these other parts of this great world, and really somebody who understands how story works. Because if they had a writer who understood how story works, we could build this Cannon Busters into an absolute anime classic that could open the door for more African American anime. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to try some of my great African American fantasy fiction, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, the Temptation of John Haynes, and the Spinsterella trilogy, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, E-Steam Goddess of. Hell's aspiring angel takes on a demonic dominatrix in this action-packed all-new E-Steam series adventure. Get E-Steam Goddess of in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.